Today, we are diving into a truly hidden gem of Islamic art, something tucked away in the most unexpected corners of Oman. We're going to explore this incredible, centuries-old tradition of exquisitely carved stucco mihrabs, and we're doing it using some groundbreaking research that pieces their story together for the very first time. You're not going to want to miss this.
So, to really get this story, you first have to picture a traditional Omani Ibaidi mosque. Architecturally, they are the very definition of humble. We're talking pure, simple buildings, no towering minarets reaching for the sky. Often, the only thing that sets them apart is this small, unique corner dome called a buma. Honestly, from the outside, you could walk right by one and think it was just another house. But this simplicity, this austerity, it's a choice, and it makes what's hidden inside absolutely mind-blowing.
Because you push open a simple door, you step inside, and you're hit with this. An absolute explosion of intricate, detailed, and just unbelievably rich stucco carving. This is a mihrab, the niche that points the way to Mecca for prayer. It is a jaw-dropping work of art that feels like it belongs in a completely different building. It's like opening a plain cardboard box and finding a Fabergé egg inside.
And that, right there, is the big question, isn't it? Why this massive paradox? Why would a culture that values such architectural modesty pour all of this creative energy, this genius, into one single feature? Well, the answer is a fascinating story of faith, of families, and of global trade. To unravel this whole mystery, we're turning to the work of Dr. Naima Benkari. Her research is actually the first ever exhaustive study to document all these mihrabs, and crucially, to connect them to their history and their place in the world. Her work is the key that unlocks this entire forgotten art form.
Okay, so just a quick refresher for anyone who might not know. A mihrab is a really fundamental part of any mosque. It's the spiritual and visual centerpiece of the prayer hall, always showing the Qibla, the direction of prayer towards Mecca. But as you're about to see, in Oman, the local artisans took this essential architectural element and turned it into a canvas for their absolute highest artistic expression.
Dr. Benkari's work is just so critical, because without it, this tradition was on the verge of being forgotten. She systematically went out, surveyed, and analyzed all 22 of the surviving examples of these mihrabs. She created the first complete picture, the first full story of this incredible artistic legacy.
And what's so cool is that her research lets us trace the entire life story of this craft. It all kicks off way back in the 13th century with this stunning first example at Jama Sawal. Then it just explodes into a golden age in the 16th century. That's where the real magic happens. And then you see it slowly fade away, with the last known example from 1829 showing a definite decline in skill. It's a 600-year artistic journey right there.
So what lit the fuse in the 16th century? What caused this golden age? The answer isn't just about art. It's about money and trade. This was the time of the Nabahina Sultanate, a period when Oman was a powerhouse of maritime commerce. Omani ships were sailing everywhere, from East Africa to India and beyond. And they brought back more than just cargo. They brought back ideas. You can literally see it right in the walls. Embedded in many of these mihrabs are beautiful porcelain bowls from Ming Dynasty China. The carving styles themselves show hints of influence from Iraq, Yemen, and Egypt. But here's the key. This wasn't just them copying what they saw. Omani artisans were master curators, weaving all these global threads into something totally new, a style that was 100% their own. And the heart of this new Omani style, the absolute epicenter of this whole movement during its 16th century peak, wasn't a big port city like you might expect. No. It was a small town deep in the country's interior.
Let's pull up the map here. See this city, south of Nizwa? That's Mana. For reasons that are about to become very clear, this one town became the undisputed capital of mihrab carving. The greatest masters were from here, and this is where the art was truly perfected.
And this is the amazing part. Thanks to inscriptions carved right into the plaster, we actually know the names of the masters. It seems to start with this one guy from Mana, Abdullah al-Humaymi, who created his first masterpieces in the early 1500s. Just a decade later, a rival family pops up, also from Mana, led by Mushmil al-Manai. These two families, especially Mushmil's son and grandsons, became artistic dynasties, carrying this craft out from Mana and creating these jewels all across Oman's interior.
So we know who made them, and we know where and when. But what exactly makes an Omani mihrab, well, Omani? What are the specific calling cards that define this unique style?
Well, across those 22 surviving examples, a very clear artistic grammar starts to appear. You get these 5 core elements: a big decorative frieze at the top, an outer frame of these beautiful repeating circles, an inner frame with complex interlacing strapwork, and then, of course, the central niche itself. And the whole thing is just covered, like a dense carpet of carved patterns. It's the blueprint for their genius.
But the number one feature, the absolute, undeniable signature of the Omani style, is this right here. A horizontal banner right at the very top of the mihrab. And in that banner is the Shahada, the Islamic profession of faith, carved in this stunningly beautiful, intricate Kufic script. Its placement, right there at the crown, is what makes this tradition totally unique in the entire Islamic world. It's their artistic fingerprint.
Now, these artists were clever. They used 2 main techniques. Most of the work was incredibly difficult freehand knife carving, done directly into wet stucco. Every single swirl and line is unique, which just speaks to their unbelievable skill and patience. But in some of the great masterpieces, like in Bahala and Al-Ali, they combine this with pre-made molded panels. This let them create perfect, repeating patterns, showing they had a really sophisticated approach to both art and efficiency.
But, as you know, golden ages don't last forever. After that incredible peak in the 16th century, the craft started a long, slow decline. The passion, the precision, that intense creativity that defined the masterpieces of Manet, it just began to fade.
And you don't have to be an art historian to see it. The visual evidence is just stark. On the left, you have a mihrab from that 16th century golden age. It's dense, it's complex, it's perfect. On the right, an example from the 18th century. You can see it immediately. The patterns are way simpler, almost abstract. The carving is less precise. The creative fire just isn't burning as brightly.
By the 1800s, the decline was complete. That signature Kufic banner, it got replaced by other scripts or just vanished altogether. That rich library of patterns was lost. And the tradition that had burned so brightly for centuries finally flickered out, leaving only these precious few examples behind.
And that brings us to today. What we have is this small, finite collection of masterpieces. An entire artistic tradition, the whole story, is encapsulated in just 22 known examples. And that raises a really urgent question about their future.
As Dr. Benkari herself puts it, the absolute peak of this art form, its quintessence, was achieved only during that brief, brilliant flash in the 16th century. Those works aren't just beautiful, they are irreplaceable moments of creative genius that can't be made again.
So let's just lay out the case here, because what we're looking at is a perfect candidate for what's called outstanding universal value. Is it a masterpiece of human creative genius? Check. Is it a unique blend of global cultures happening in one spot? Absolutely. Check. Is it an irreplaceable testimony to a cultural tradition that has now vanished? Check. And do we even know the names of the artists and families who did it? Amazingly, yes. Check.
And so, we'll leave you with this final thought. When you consider their unique beauty, their incredible history, and their undeniable fragility, does this extraordinary collection of Omani mihrabs, this hidden art hiding in plain sight, deserve to be recognized and protected for all of us, for all of humanity, on the UNESCO World Heritage List? What do you think?